So hi all, welcome to another video lecture. In this video lecture we will see the OS module in Python. So the OS module in Python is a standard library module that provides a way of interacting with the operating system. It allows you to perform tasks like managing files and directories, reading or setting environment variables, working with paths and running system commands. So there are certain functionalities, certain functions within the OS module that we will see. So for us to use the OS module, right, we need to first import it. So let us go ahead and use this command import OS. Okay. Now within this OS we have certain functions that we can avail. Okay. So the first thing that we will see is how to get the current directory. Okay, so currently the os module.py, that is our Python module, is present in the new folders, right? C users /desktop/new folder, right? So this is our current directory. So if I want to go ahead and if I want to get this path, the directory that I'm currently working in, I will just go ahead and type os.getcwd. Okay, if I go ahead and print this, okay, if I go ahead and print this, you will see it will give me the path. See, C users /desktop/new folders. Correct. Let's say I want to go ahead and I want to change this directory. Okay, I want to enter inside this React.js. Okay, this particular folder. Okay, so how will I go ahead and change my directory? Currently my directory is in this new folder, right? But I want to enter inside this React.js folder. How I will go ahead and do that? So for us to go ahead and do that, to change the directory, what we can go ahead and type os.chdir. Okay, ch means change, dir means directory, so change directory, and within this we have to give this path. Okay, so within this path we need to provide the path in which I need to go ahead and change. So I will have to provide the path of this React.js, right? If you just see new folder /React.js, so till new folder I will get it from os.getcwd, right? And React.js I have to go ahead and add it. So how will I go ahead and add it? So now there are two ways of adding paths, right? One is by using the concatenation, normal concatenation. Okay, so os.getcwd, okay, this is still new folder, plus I will add a string. Okay, I will just type React.js / and then React.js. Okay, if I go ahead and if I do this, it will go ahead and change my directory. And for us to see whether the directory has changed or not, I will again type os.getcwd to get the current directory. Okay, once I go ahead and do this, you will see it will give me this /React.js. Okay, now obviously there is another way of combining the paths. Okay, and that way is to use os.path.join function. Okay, within this we can provide the path. So first will be the root path. Okay, so os.getcwd is my root path, okay, till new folder, and here I can go ahead and add certain directories. So the directory that I'm adding over here is React.js, so React.js. Okay, and if I go ahead and if I do this, then both of these paths will be joined. Let me go ahead and store this in variables. So I will say dir_path. Okay, and if I want to go ahead and if I use this, right, this os.change directory here, and I will replace this with dir path, right, it will work in the same way. It will give me the same value as given here, right? See, it has given me the same value. Now the advantage of using the os.path.join over simple concatenation is that sometimes users get confused between / and /. Sometimes user forget to put these slashes, right? Because if the path, in case the path is long and in case the path is complicated or it's huge, people definitely will forget to put slashes. Somewhere they will put /, somewhere they will put /, somewhere they won't even put a slash, right? So in that particular case, it's better to use the os.path.join because that confusion gets eradicated from here. right? You just need to mention the directories. Okay, so this was regarding joining the paths. Okay, and now we have changed the path, and once we use the os.getcwd, it will now give us the current directory, which is the path that we have just changed to. Correct. Now I want to go ahead and create a directory, right? So how to go ahead and create a directory? So I will use the function os.mkdir. Okay, and here I will pass the path, right? So now what I will do, let me just remove this, and in the dir underscore path, right, os.join, what I will do, I will go ahead and I will give a new path, new directory name. I will, let's say I will type in temp. Okay, and I will pass this dir underscore path here. Okay, and now what I will do, I will go ahead and I will simply run this. If I run this, you will see that this folder has been created, temp, over here. Okay, now let's say if I want to create multiple directories, what can I do? If I go ahead and if I give, let's say, you know, now the temp has already been created, right? If I go ahead and if I add two more directories, let's say temp1 and temp2, I'm adding two more directories over here. So will this still run? Let's find out. It has given me an error. It is saying that the system cannot find the path specified. So the problem with this is that mkdir is not able to find out temp1 over here. Okay, it is trying to reach the temp2, that's why this error is coming. And in order for us to reach temp2, we first have to reach temp1, right? But temp1 is not present. The problem is that mkdir only creates directory one at a time. In case if we want to create multiple directories at the same time, we use makedirs. Okay, if I hit on run right now, it will run just fine. See, it has created temp/temp1/temp2. It will create n such directories for us at the same time. Okay, so now a question might come in your mind is that if makedirs can create one or multiple directories at the same time, why bother even using mkdir, right, which only creates directory one at a time? So the answer is pretty simple. It's related with time. Okay, in smaller programs, obviously the time taken by makedirs and mkdirs might be very negligible. Okay, but in case if the program becomes pretty complicated and lengthy, in those cases mkdir specifically using at places where we have to create directory one at a time, using mkdir can definitely make our program run faster and quicker. Okay, so this was about making the directory. Now if I want to go ahead and if I run this again, do you think it will give me an error, or will it run just fine, or will it not do anything? It will override creating these directories again. Okay, so if I run this again, right, it will give me an error. It is saying cannot create a file when that file already exists. You see, already this entire directory exists, right? temp/temp1/temp2, right? So if I go ahead and run it again, it will give me an error. So how will I check whether this directory has already been created or not, whether this path exists or not? So for that we will use this if os.path.exists. This will check whether my path exists or not. So I will just type in dir underscore path over here. It is to check if this dir underscore path, that is this folder, exists or not. If this folder path exists, then I want to go ahead and I don't want to go ahead and create it again, right? But if it doesn't exist, then I want to go ahead and create it. So I will use the not operator to check whether it doesn't exist. Okay, and I will simply copy this and paste it here. Okay, now what it will do, in case if the path doesn't exist, so it will create it. Okay, but now it already exists. So how will I check this, right? Now I have to go ahead and remove this first, right? Remove this entire temp/temp1/temp2, right? This entire directory. How will I go ahead and remove this? So the way to remove the directory, we will go ahead and type os.remove dirs. Okay, remove dirs. This will remove all the directories. Okay, and here I will pass the dir path. So what it is now going to do, if I run it now, right? Since it already exists, it will first remove it, and once I remove it, it will be empty. Now when I run it again, right, it will create the directory for me. Okay, so let us just check it. If I run this, you see this gets removed. Okay, and when I again run it, now since it doesn't exist, so it will create it for me. See, it has created for me, right? temp/temp1/temp2, correct? So this is the function of path exist and remove dirs. Okay, next that we will see is how to use the environment variables. Okay, so let's get rid of this. Now there are two ways of using the environment variables, right? One is using os.getEnv. Okay, now what exactly is an environment variable, right? These are like certain variables that we assign outside the system, and we want to go ahead and use it. These are like some of the dynamic parameters that we want to store. Okay, so let us go ahead and let us check this once, right? os.getEnv will give us the environment, right? The environment value. Okay, and how we are going to go ahead and assign this environment. So there are two ways, right? Two ways of assigning these variables. Okay, one is the local way that I will show, and second is the dynamic way. So the local way is using os.environ, and I will use the third bracket over here, and within this I will, let's say I will give my variable name, environment variable name. I will say, let's say API_key, and within this I will go ahead and I will type the value A, B, C, D, something 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And within this, and now this becomes my environment variable. Now this is a temporary variable, which means that as long as this session is running, this environment variable is present. If my session terminates, then my environment variable will also terminate. Okay, so if I want to go ahead and get this value, right, how will I get it? I will just simply type print os.environ.get, and within this get I will type in the key. Okay, this key. If I go ahead and if I now run this, it will give me this value. See, this has given me this value. Okay, but this is temporary. This is with this session, when this session ends, it will terminate, right? So this is static. Now I want to go ahead and I don't want to use it like this. I want to store this environment someplace in the system, and then I want to go ahead and invoke that environment variable within my VS Code, right, in this module. So how will I go ahead and I will do that? So now in dynamic way, there are two ways of doing it. Okay, one is using os.getEnv. Okay, os.getEnv. Now how we will use os.getEnv? Okay, so for us to go ahead and use os.getEnv, and within this getEnv we need to provide the key, right? The same API key that I was showing earlier, right? The same key type I need to go ahead and use it. But where will this key be defined, right? So one way is that I go to the advanced system, view advanced system settings. Okay, and with this system properties pane will open up. Within this, if you just see, there is this environment variables. I will click on this, and within under my system variables I will click on new, and I will define my variable name. Let's say I will type in var. Okay, within this var I will give the value as, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will click on OK, and if I go down, you will just check that this var has been added in my system variables. Now if I click on OK, and now what I will do, I will go ahead and I will pass this var over here, os.getEnv, right? If I run this, will it run? It will not run. Okay, wait, I have to print it. If I print it, will it run? Yes, it has given me the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Correct. So this is the way how we can actually use the environment variable over here, right? One, by using getEnv. So os.getEnv, what it will do, it will go ahead, check into the system variables, the environment variable which you will specify over there in your system, and then it will fetch it from here. This is one way of defining the environment, getting the environment variable. Okay, another way is using a library. Okay, so I will just type import .env, right? Or rather I will say from .env import your load.env. okay, load.env. Now if I go ahead and if I just type in load_.env and give this, right, it is saying .env path, right? Now what it will do, if you just read this, right, parse a .env file and then load all the variables found as environment variables, right? So what we need to do over here is we need to create a .env file over here, right? And inside the .env file we will go ahead and we will pass all the variables, right, all our environment variables values inside that file, right? So let us go ahead and let us create that file. I will just type in test.env. okay, and within this I will again type in the API underscore key equals to, let's say 1 2 3 4 5 something, password is equals to @ 1 2 3 4 5, debug is equals to true. Okay, and now if you go ahead and hover on this, okay, this is going to be my path. Try to go ahead and place it in the same folder location as the os module.py. okay, now I have to go ahead and I have to pass this path, right? So what I will do, I will simply go ahead and I will say env underscore path is equals to os.path.join, and within this I will give the path. Which path? os.getcwd, comma, and within this I will pass in this name test.env. okay, and I will get this env underscore path from here. So once you run this command, right, it will go ahead and establish a connection between this os module.py and the test.env. and if I want to go ahead and fetch the values of the environment variable, what I can do, I will just simply go ahead and say I will give this API key is equals to os.environ.get, and within this I will go ahead and I will fetch the key value. So the key is API key, so let us go ahead and copy this and let us paste it here like this. Okay, and let us print the API underscore key. If I use this, okay, so firstly I will have to go ahead and save it. Okay, don't forget to save it or else it will give you none. Now it has given me the value 1 2 3 4 5 tilde 5 4 5 5 4. okay, if I want to go ahead and get this password over here, I can get the password as well, right? I just need to simply type password and it will give us the password. See, so this is these are the two ways of assigning the environment variables. Okay, so now let us go ahead and now let us see how do we go ahead and check the directories within a particular folder. Okay, so for us to check the directories within a particular folder, right, we simply use the command os.listdir. Listdir means list the directories, and within this we specify the path. Okay, so let us say that I want to check the directories within the root folder, that is the new folder, right, the current directory that I am. So I will simply say os.getcwd. okay, and after this I will print this. So what it will do, it will give me a list of all the directories that is present within this folder. If I go ahead and if I run this, you see it has given me the list of the directories over here. Okay, so if you check this one, right, it is giving me the list of directories .idr, .vs code, os module.py, react.js, temp, and test.env. If I want to iterate over this, so what I can simply say, I will simply go ahead and type for I in os.list directories. Okay, and I will simply say print I, and see it is going to give me all the directories. Okay, so this is the function of os.list directory. Okay, if I want to go ahead and if I want to check the statistics of each and every one of these directories, right? If I want to go ahead and check the statistics of, let's say, one of the directory, so how will I go ahead and check that? Let's say I want to check the statistics for the 10th directory. Okay, when it was created, what is the modified time, all that. So what I'm simply going to do, okay, I will just simply say print os.stats. Okay, and within this I will just type y. Okay, so you see this, it will give me the statistics for all these directories, right? For each and every one of this directory. So let us say I will just simply use break. Okay, just to get the the stats for just one of the directory. Let me just pause this, let me run it again. So if you look at this directory, right, if you look at the stat result, right, it is st_mode is there, st_m time is there. So this st_m time, right, this is the modified time. Okay, and how can I get the modified time? I will just simply type dot and I will just simply st_m time. So this will give me the modified time. This is 174.10.13.914. Okay, so this is in seconds. Okay, how will I go ahead and make this in a more readable form? I will simply use the date time library. Okay, from date time import date time. Okay, and from here what I will say, I will say date time dot from timestamp, and within this I will pass this entire. Okay, and now I will go ahead and I will print this. So this is going to give me in the date, this entire value will be converted in a proper readable date time form. Okay, let me use break. See, it has given me in a proper readable date time format. Okay, so this is regarding how we can use the list directory and how we can use the os.stats. Okay, the last thing that we will see is how we can go ahead and move the files from one folder to another folder. Okay, so to move the files, right, we are going to use one more library, which we are going to say chdir. Okay, this chdir library, it is responsible for moving the files and folders from one particular folder to another folder. Okay, from source folder to a destination folder. Okay, so let us say src. Okay, let us specify the source path. Okay, so let us say that I want to let us create one text file. Let's say this text.txt. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I have to move this text file within this temp folder, let's say. Okay, so for that let's just create the source file path. Okay, so os.path os.path.join and os.getcwd. Okay, and within this I will simply say text.txt. Okay, so this is my source path. Okay, the source, and the destination path will be os.path.join. okay, wait, os.getcwd. Okay, and within this I have to mention this temp. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm just simply going to say chdir.move, and with this I will have to mention the source src comma the destination file. Okay, and over here in the source, right, I have to mention like where is the file present. Okay, so this is going to be text.txt. okay, if I go ahead and if I run this, it will go ahead and move this text.txt file from this source to this destination within the temp. If I run this and if I go to this temp, you see this text.txt file is been moved. Okay, if I have to go ahead and do the reverse, I just simply have to go ahead, use this over here, and now if I go ahead and if I replace this with dst and with src, you see this will again reverse. See, this has come back. Okay, so this is the function of shootil.move. okay, you can also use os.replace function, os.replace function, but os.replace function is not such a good function to use, because if you want to move, if the source and the destination function is not within the same directory, right, then this os.replace function fails. The best option to use is to use the shootil, because it also can move files from one specific directory to another directory, like from C directory to like from C drive to D drive, from one drive to another drive. Okay, it can go ahead and move that. Obviously os.replace function, it fails there. Okay, that's why the best way to use is the shootil function in such cases. Okay, so I hope you have really enjoyed this session. Okay, os module has a lot of other functions as well, right, which obviously we will not, it's impossible to cover. Okay, many of them are the functions which you can find in the official Python documentation. Okay, I will I will give the link in the description. You can go ahead and check that. Okay, there are a lot of functions within the os module, and obviously if you want to master it, then it will take a lot of time, correct? But if you watch this video, most of the important functions that we regularly would be using, that I have covered it over here. Okay, so it is more than enough. So if you have really enjoyed this session, then please don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel, and please don't forget to press the bell icon for notification. Thank you.